Let's begin with a structural overview. Welcome to another lecture. Today we will examine Lauren Bennett, an English singer and dancer whose voice you have almost certainly heard, even if you do not know it. I am Alexei, a professor, and our objective is to understand her career in its proper historical and industrial context.
Hi, I am Priyanka, a doctoral student, and I'm looking forward to learning how her path connects local stages in England to global charts.
To frame our discussion, Lauren Bennett's career can be viewed as a journey, a function mapping small domain inputs to very large outputs. She began with village talent contests and pub performances in Meafham, Kent, and then at 17 translated that early signal into a transatlantic move to Los Angeles. From there, we observe a sequence of collaborations and group memberships, culminating in internationally certified hits. In simpler terms, a local microphone became a global megaphone.
So yeah, moving on. I'm curious about the technical role she played on big records. When people say featured artist, what exactly does that mean for someone like her on Party Rock Anthem?
It is important to understand the terminology. A girl group is a vocal ensemble of women built around harmonized singing and choreographed performance. Bennett was part of two such projects, Paradiso Girls and GRL. A featured artist is a credited contributor on another act's track. On LMFAO's Party Rock Anthem, she is officially credited alongside Goon Rock, and her vocal hook is integral to the song's identity, even though LMFAO remained the primary act. Diamond certification, in this context the RIAA designation in the United States, indicates 10 million units or more. Party Rock Anthem reached that threshold, a rarefied level that codifies cultural saturation as well as sales. To some extent, features like hers are the scaffolding on which a hit's most memorable motifs are built. Moving forward, why does Bennett matter for understanding the pop industry? She exemplifies the UK to US pipeline in which English talent migrates into American label ecosystems. In her case, Interscope and will.i.am's Orbit, and later Kemosabe and RCA. And she then oscillated between groups, features, and solo singles. The stakes are clear. If we ignore featured vocalists and ensemble work, we misread who actually shapes the sound and stickiness of global hits in the 2010s crossover of pop, R&B, and EDM-oriented production.
It makes me wonder, do we systematically overlook voices like hers because we focus on lead artists and albums? Maybe we miss half the story of how hooks travel.
Arguably, yes. The written record often privileges solo discographies, yet featured artists carry melodic burden and brand association in ways that listeners internalize even without name recognition. Bennett's career is a case study in this asymmetry. On to our next point, some anchoring facts. Lauren Diane Bennett was born in June 1989 in Meafham, Kent, England. She moved to Los Angeles at 17 to join the Paradiso Girls. In 2009, their Patron Tequila, featuring Lil Jon and Eve, reached number 3 on Billboard's Dance Club Songs chart, which tracks popularity in U.S. clubs via DJ reports. In 2010, she appeared on CeeLo Green's Love Gun. In 2011, she released her debut solo single, I Wish I Wish. That same year, she was the featured vocalist on LMFAO's Party Rock Anthem, a single that reached number 1 in the US, UK, Australia, Canada, Ireland, France, New Zealand, and Switzerland, and intriguingly peaked at number 8 in Germany. Certifications included RIAA Diamond in the US, 15 times platinum in Australia, 6 times platinum in Canada, 4 times platinum in New Zealand, BPI 3 times platinum in the UK, and platinum in France. These figures quantify just how far her voice traveled.
Building on that, can we now look at GRL? I know she joined with Paula Van Oppen, Natasha Slayton, Emmeline Estrada, and Simone Battle. How did that shape her visibility after the LMFAO moment?
Naturally. In 2014, Bennett joined GRL, as you list. Their debut song Vacation appeared on the Smurfs 2 soundtrack, an archetypal visibility strategy. They featured on Pitbull's Wild Wild Love, connecting the group to his global rhythmic audience. GRL had an international hit with Ugly Heart, then endured the profound loss of Simone Battle. The group released Lighthouse as a tribute, explicitly engaging mental health and grief in pop. In 2015, GRL disbanded. Later, a subset including Bennett, Natasha Slayton, and Jazzy Majah issued Are We Good and Kiss Myself under the GRL name, illustrating fluid branding in modern groups. In 2016, Bennett released the solo single Hurricane and featured on Nick Martin's Reality, a track inspired by Battle's death. Here we see how private loss reverberates into public art. Throughout, she operated within pop and R&B idioms, with vocals as her primary instrument and choreography as a constant performance grammar. If you will, a brief personal note. Party rock anthem functioned for much of the world as a metronome for public joy. Graduations, weddings, even in my case, an otherwise quiet faculty potluck that briefly became a dance floor. Mathematically, the probability of hearing it in any given week in 2011 felt uncomfortably close to 1. This logically leads us to 3 questions. First, historically, what is Bennett's impact on the pop landscape? Second, counterfactually, what if her 2011 solo single, I Wish, had become a major hit? And third, in the present, how does her untimely death shape her legacy and the narrative that surrounds it? For the historical question, the evidence indicates that Bennett's collaborations exemplify the 2010s portfolio approach, where artists rotate among groups, features, and solo work for maximum exposure. Party rock anthems' chart spread and extreme certifications confirmed that a featured hook could anchor global memory. Add the Pitbull collaboration and the club-heavy Paradiso Girls period, and we observe a through line. She specialized in delivering high-energy, radio-ready motifs that threaded the needle between dance pop and R&B inflection. Even the German outlier at number 8 usefully reminds us that dominance is not totalizing. Market-specific programming still matters.
I often think listeners recognize the hook more than the primary artist's verse. So can we say that featured singers like Bennett define what people hum, but they do not always get the narrative credit?
Clearly, featured roles can be decisive in the cognitive economics of a hit. The timbre and phrasing of the hook, often carried by the featured vocalist, lodges in memory and drives repeat play. Yet public narratives tend to orbit the marquee name. Bennett's case illuminates both leverage and limitation. The leverage of immense reach from a single credit, and the limitation that one's own catalog can be eclipsed unless sustained solo promotion follows. Now the counterfactual. Suppose I Wish had become a major hit in 2011. We can infer a different branching, a likely pivot to a solo campaign with label resources concentrating on brand definition, successive singles, and perhaps an LP cycle. The opportunity cost might have been fewer group commitments, but the benefit would be consolidation of name recognition, not only as a voice, but as a lead identity. In practice, solo success requires sequential reinforcement, not one track, but a runway of them.
What comes to mind next is the challenge side. For a young artist, What are the main frictions in going solo after a giant feature? Is it mostly marketing, or is it also creative control and expectations management?
To elaborate, it is a multivariable problem. Marketing and radio promotion matter. Brand storytelling must differentiate you from the hit you helped make for someone else. Creative direction must present continuity with what listeners already love about your voice, while articulating new terrain. There is also timing. Releasing against the residual tide of a global feature can help or hinder. And there is stamina. Solo careers demand sustained cycles of content, performance, and audience cultivation that groups can distribute across members. Bennett's portfolio approach was rational within the 2010s environment. It diversified exposure while leveraging existing infrastructures at Interscope, will.i.am's ecosystem, Kimosabi, RCA, and related channels. The third question is the most somber. Lauren Bennett died in May 2026 in Meafham, Kent, at age 36. Her death was publicly announced in July 2026 by former bandmates, which is atypically delayed in the social media era. The cause of death was not immediately known. A coroner's inquest was scheduled for October 2026. This gap produced initial reporting discrepancies, including age misstatements of 37 in some outlets. The correct arithmetic is that she had not yet reached her 37th birthday in June 2026. Such uncertainties influence early narratives and public memory.
If I may suggest a broader lens, what is the role of social media in modern obituaries when the announcement comes through peers? Does it accelerate clarity or amplify confusion when there is a delay like this?
In this context, social media acts as both primary source and amplifier. When peers announce, the information carries intimacy and credibility. Yet a delay can create a vacuum in which speculation grows, as we saw with age discrepancies before major outlets such as The Guardian, the BBC, Variety, Rolling Stone, USA Today, and others standardized the essential facts following the July posts. It is crucial to understand that more research is needed on how such timelines shape collective memory, particularly when an inquest is pending and the cause remains officially unknown. To summarize, Lauren Bennett was an English singer and dancer from Meafham, Kent, whose portfolio spanned Paradiso Girls, GRL, and high-profile features, most famously Party Rock Anthem, a diamond-certified juggernaut with extraordinary global reach. We examined 3 questions: her historical impact as a featured voice shaping early 2010s pop, the counterfactual of a breakout solo hit in 2011, and the evolving legacy shaped by the unusual delay in the public announcement of her 2026 death. For those inclined to further study, consider systematic analyses of featured artists' roles in global hits. Hooks, credits, and audience recall are fertile ground for empirical work. This then completes our present analysis. Continue exploring the intertwined histories of pop, R&B, and the mechanisms that carry a voice from a village stage to a world stage.
Thank you, Professor. That was helpful to think through, actually.